City of Stevens Point Special Common Council Meeting, recorded December 21st, 2020.
Okay, I have 7 o'clock. I will call the regular Common Council meeting of the City of Stevens Point to order. If people are joining us, I will be sure and monitor so we can let them in case they're a little late getting to the meeting. The first thing we need to do is a roll call. Clerk Yenter, could you please call the roll?
Jennings. Here. Shore.
Here.
Nabel.
Here.
Zarazua.
Here.
Johnson.
Here.
Slowinski.
Here.
Kneebone.
Here.
Leak.
Here.
Dalton.
Dalton. Here.
Fischler.
Here.
Morrow.
Here.
11 present. We do have a quorum, so we will continue. The first thing we have to do is our opening salute to the flag. So I'm going to change my background in case you don't have a flag where you are. And we can now do the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Hang on here. Give me just a second. We got a couple people in the waiting room yet. I'm getting those in. Sorry, I didn't mean to prematurely have everybody stand.
Mayor Weeza, can you hear me?
Ma'am, you are out of order.
I just wanted to say something about.
I will now, let's see, I can change that. Okay, so now we have the background. I am going to step aside and we will do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
to the flag
of the United
Of
States
the
of
United States of
America.
America.
to the republic,
And to the
Republic for which it stands,
one nation,
one nation,
under God,
indivisible,
under God,
with
indivisible,
liberty
with liberty and justice
justice
for all. Thank you all. I will switch this back. And we will continue. Oh, that didn't do it.
Mayor Weeza?
Mary, you are out of order. I'm going to ask that you please hold your comments until the public comment section is open. There we go. All right. So Mayor's opening remarks. I haven't done this a whole lot in recent times because there's been too much going on. And I wanted to make sure that it was as simple as possible for people to join us remotely through these Zoom meetings. But there are a couple of things that I think are very important, especially now. Of course, the holiday season is upon us. Tonight, we are going to have the closest convergence of Saturn and Jupiter. If there were clear skies, we'd be able to see a very bright object in the sky. Some people call it the Christmas star. And I think it's especially important because with the holiday season coming up, we finally see a light at the end of the tunnel, right? We've got the approval of 2 vaccines now that are going to be distributed. It may be a while before we actually see them as citizens, but they're approved. The process is there. And as 2020 draws to a close, I want to make sure that we remember some very good things that have happened throughout the year. Of course, the city was, everybody's lives really were thrown into turmoil, but the city was particularly affected because we needed to make sure that our services that we provide, not just fixing roads and picking up garbage, but our emergency services needed to be consistent. When you picked up the phone and called 911, when you needed help, we needed to make sure that people were there and able to respond in a timely manner. So I want to commend the entire city staff, department heads and employees alike for working together and finding a way to adjust our schedules, adjust our lives, and adjust our policies to make sure that we were able to keep the services that the city has come to depend on there. And a few other things, especially in recent times, we have just been awarded, and I'm going to hold this up here because we haven't yet gotten our official plaque. And I can't even tell you how we scored yet. All I know is that we have went from our bronze status to now a silver status by the League of American Bicyclists as a bicycle-friendly community. And I think that's especially important because we are one of 485 communities throughout all 50 states, the entire country, that's received this, and the only one in central Wisconsin. So we are going to be having a little ceremony once we get our official, I don't know if it's a plaque or some sort of desktop thing, but we are going to be posting signs around to make sure that people know we are a bicycle-friendly community. Now, silver status is better than bronze. However, above silver, there's still gold, diamond, and platinum. So we still have some work to do. But I know that the team is going to work very diligently to ensure that we are accommodating all of the users of our transportation system in the city of Stevens Point. And then lastly, I don't think she's here because she said she wanted to go out quietly, but I just cannot let that happen. Those of you on council and of course the department heads know that after over 3 decades of service to the city of Stevens Point, the administrative assistant to the mayor, Kelly Pazdernick, will be finally retiring on January 5th of 2021, traveling with her husband and spending time with the grandkids out in California. It's important to know that Kelly's service was appreciated and that she's going to be missed dearly. I don't know what the office is going to do without Kelly. She has literally held it together for 5 mayors. 5 mayors Kelly has served under, going all the way back to Mayor Scott Schultz. She's worked for 2 different Halversons, Gil Halverson and Andrew Halverson, who was one of my predecessors. She's worked for Mayor Gary Westcott twice when he served his 3 terms and then came back to fill in for an interim. And then, of course, working with me, making sure that the office stays running. And I know I speak for all of the directors that she is instrumental in keeping things organized, not only making sure that I get to where I need to be and who I need to be there with, but making sure documents get signed properly and that every department head has everything they need from this office. So she doesn't know about this yet. We'll present it to her tomorrow, but we have a plaque commemorating her service. Now, I just want to read it tonight. It says, in recognition of your dedicated public service as assistant to the mayor for the city of Stevens Point, the people of the city of Stevens Point extend their profound appreciation and sincere gratitude to Kelly Pazdernick. She was hired November 5th, 1990, and will be retiring again on January 5th of 2021. Those of you who know Kelly or have had an opportunity to work with Kelly, take some time over the next 2 weeks and give her a call or drop her a card, send her an email, and let her know how much you appreciated her service to the city. As I said, it's a tough one to let go, but I am absolutely thrilled that she is finally going to have an opportunity to spend some time with her husband, who's retired a couple years ago, and to get out to see those grandkids a little more frequently. And that's all I had. Are there any alders who wish to take a comment in the non-agenda item section? I'm sorry, we'll move to the next item, which is persons who wish to address the mayor or council on a non-agenda item should register their request at this time. Those who wish to address the council during a public hearing are not required to identify themselves until the public hearing is declared open by the mayor. Is there anyone who wishes to address the council on a non-agenda item? We have Alder, hang on, I'm writing it down. We have Alder Kneebone. Okay. And I believe I saw Alder Leek's hand. Hang on one second. There is something in the comments.
It was a gratuitous comment.
Got you. No, there was another one. Apparently, Mary Meyer wanted to ask the mayor to let people in without having to be admitted. We have a waiting room. Everybody who has entered that room has been admitted. There is nobody, and I repeat, nobody being denied access to this meeting, nor will there be, unless they become, of course, unruly or fail to follow the rules. I have Alder Kneebone and Alder Leek. Is there anyone else wishing to address the council on a non-agenda item for up to 3 minutes? And we have a large crowd today, so I'm going to go extra slow. Okay, seeing no one else, I am going to move to item number 4, and that is persons who wish to address the mayor and council for up to 3 minutes regarding a non-agenda item. Alder Kneebone, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm speaking tonight as a private citizen of Stevens Point. In that vein, I'd like to wish members of the Common Council, our terrific city employees, and my fellow community members a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and a sincere belief that 2021 will be a far better year for all of us. I was in grade school when John F. Kennedy said in his January 20th, 1961 inauguration address, and so my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. Many of us in the baby boomer generation took that to heart. I chose to serve my country in the United States Air Force during the Vietnam era. That service ultimately led me to a master's degree in urban planning with an environmental protection emphasis. I believe deeply in the Aldo Leopold land ethic, which at its core is simply caring about people, about land, and about strengthening the relationships between them. It elevates the natural world to the same status as all of us, individual members of a larger community. My time here as a student led me back to Stevens Point as my dream place to retire. I fell in love with Point when I came to the UWSP College of Natural Resources in 1989. Point has it all: a thriving downtown, the Green Circle Trail, mom and pop businesses handed down through generations of the family, and a commitment to enhancing the quality of life for all residents. These are the things that keep a community strong and growing. So tonight, for all of these reasons, I want you to know I will be on the ballot on April 6, 2021, seeking another term as District 7 alderperson. I do this because, to quote former President Obama, that's when America soars. When we look out for one another, when we take care of each other, when we root for one another's success, when we strive to do better and be better than the generation that came before us, and I'm sorry. I wrote this down so I wouldn't screw this up. When we strive to do better and be better than the generations that came before us, and try to build something better for generations to come. That's why we do what we do. That's the whole point of public service. I honestly believe public service is a noble calling, and I hope the residents of District 7 will allow me another opportunity to serve them and the city of Stevens Point to the best of my ability. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Mary. That was extremely profound and well thought out, and I honestly think it echoes the sentiment of just about everybody that runs for public office. So thank you. That was very nice. Alder Lee.
Yes, dear.
Hi, yeah, so thank you, Mayor Wiesa. I don't need to say so much because you covered the BFC silver level recognition quite well, quite adequately. But that's what I wanted to talk about, that this is from the League of American Bicyclists, this award. The only remaining things I would point out about this recognition of Stevens Point as a silver level community is that it puts us in the same class with a number of cities much larger than Stevens Point, like, well, La Crosse, Wisconsin, for instance, is again not in our region, but it's, you know, relatively it's in the same sort of you know, maybe league, or it's not too far away is what I'm trying to say. But also cities like Provo, Utah, Mesa, Arizona, for instance, and some, you know, some towns of equivalent size like Fitchburg and Princeton in New Jersey. And this is a result. We were actually designated as a studio that had moved up. That is, we have improved, and this is a recognition that we can highlight in our marketing to attract new residents and new businesses. Because businesses consider quality of life when they are looking for places to either to stay in or to settle down in. And so I think this is something we should promote vigorously. Thank you.
Thank you, Alder Leek. Just as some common courtesy reminders, if you are not speaking, keep yourself on mute. And if you have something to say, indicate so by either raising your virtual hand, waving on the screen, or sending something in the chat. I'm monitoring all of them. So we should be able to get everything squared away if someone wishes to speak, and I will call upon you when the time is appropriate for those comments. We do have a presentation scheduled from Colin Hanson. Colin, I don't see your name. Are you with us on a phone?
I can see you guys. I'm here
there
somewhere.
You are. Okay, I got you. So, all right.
Okay.
With that, I sent a document out that Colin asked us to share with the council earlier today. So with that, I will turn it over to Colin Hanson, who is going to give us a little presentation about a program called A Walk in Their Shoes. Colin?
Thank you. And to Alderman Mary Kneebone, I would vote for you because what you said is everything that I've been taught. I grew up in, being from Stevens Point. I'm proudly wearing my dad's t-shirt tonight to signify my love and growing, always constant admiration for Stevens Point in the place that I grew up in. My mom still lives on 1901 Clark Street, and I happily make trips there to paint that white house with green shutters whenever needed and help out there. But tonight, I'm excited because a while ago, I saw the Stevens Point Council on Channel 7 News. And I don't watch the news often, but every once in a while I get lucky to hear and see good things. And I saw that Stevens Point would like to put a committee together on diversity. And so the next day I called Mayor Weese's office and left a message to talk about something that's near and dear to my heart, diversity, and it comes straight from Stevens Point and the house I grew up in, 1901 Clark Street, by the wonderful parents that I had and have, as my father, many of you know, has passed away, but his teachings haven't left me as I served in the Peace Corps when I graduated college. So I heard that call, John F. Kennedy, about what I could do for my country, not what can they do for me, but also what I can do for the world, even if I do come from Stevens Point. Even as now, I am a 5th grade teacher in the Edgar School District. Many of you might know of Edgar's great run in football, as it is a Friday nights kind of town, but I'm sure you might not know this. Edgar has proudly brought 10, soon to be 11, hopefully 12, congressional gold medal stories to the school. Edgar has also brought 10 Hollywood productions to the school. Edgar has also had 4 out of the 5 segregated military units on Veterans Day to celebrate and share their story. Edgar has also had many survival stories, whether it's the genocide in Rwanda, the genocide in Cambodia, the genocide in Sudan with the Lost Boys of Sudan, Holocaust survivors from Ravensbrück concentration camp, resistance of the Holocaust, the Belsky brothers, the movie Defiance. Edgar has also had people like The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind, William Kumkawamba, which should spark a lot of interest at UWSP in their natural resource department. And as Alderman Kneebone talked about, the one who started Earth Day. 2 years ago on Earth Day, Edgar had a guy by the name of Tonto from Cameroon, Africa, whose book is called I Am Farmer, who builds wells throughout Cameroon to bring people fresh water who do not have. Now, this is all under the umbrella, A Walk in Their Shoes. And what I'm here to talk to you about is, as the director of A Walk in Their Shoes, what I would like to do is start giving back to the Stevens Point community, to start giving back to my high school, Pacelli, and the Catholic school system, to start giving back to the Stevens Point public area school system, as I have 5 programs scheduled next year. I have Charles Person, an original Freedom Rider. I have Rita Schwerner, who is the widow of Michael Schwerner, who his story was featured in Mississippi Burning as one of the 3 civil rights people who were grotesquely, gruesomely murdered, to talk about Freedom Summer, which is about registering to vote. I have inspirational stories, a guy by the name of Matt Stutzman, who is a Paralympian, who has many records, who shoots archery with his feet. He was actually featured in Netflix on Rising Phoenix. He was also in kind of that game show, TV show, Guess My Profession. As you can see, it might be difficult to guess his profession. He's featured on TED Talks. Also there was a movie made of a book called Horse Soldiers. The movie is called 12 Strong. Next year for Veterans Day, I have the author Doug Stanton and one of the 12 Strong. And that movie was about right after 9/11, the first 12 soldiers to go to Afghanistan. And so I have one of the 12 and Doug Stanton to come. And then to top it all off, a story that's going to knock everyone's socks off, probably one of the most historic opportunities we could have in central Wisconsin. As some of you might know, the Little Rock Nine, the first 9 African Americans to desegregate public schools. Well, that's actually incorrect. In 1956, there were 12 African American students in Clinton, Tennessee, called the Clinton 12. And so I have 3, if not 4, of the Clinton 12 ready and willing to come to share their story, along with a guy who is Caucasian, Jerry Shatuk, who was then president of student council, captain of the football team, you name it, him to share why he was in support of desegregating public schools. So I'm here to pitch A Walk in Their Shoes to the Stevens Point area, and I'm here to give it to you free. I will do everything. I will raise all the money to cover all the costs. I will schedule everything, flights, you name it. All I ask is that you guys help me get into the schools. I've been lucky to have times and opportunities where students from Benjamin Franklin have come to Edgar. Junction City Elementary came to listen to Sharon Robinson, daughter of Jackie Robinson. I have had homeschoolers or charter schools come, but I have not been able to make strong connections to bring the stories right to Pacelli or bring the stories right to Stevens Point at the public school. And so I'm here to offer that, to offer A Walk in Their Shoes, to offer my name, Colin Hanson, my phone number, my email, to be in contact in hopes that we can connect our communities and our schools, but then also to work with your, I hope, goal and mission as a committee of diversity in the Stevens Point area. I know you said you give me 15 minutes. I do want to, I think the council has been able to see the sheet that I handed out. And if it can be circulated for others that would be great. I am going to show a picture on my camera so everyone can kind of see. You'll see 4 girls holding a laptop. And I know it's not the best picture and stuff like that. But this summer, a mother contacted me, said, hey, we want to do a summer book club. Do you have a book? And I said, yes. Read this book, This Promise of Change. And when you're done, tell me. So they read This Promise of Change, which is about the Clinton 12. And she contacted, she said, we're done. I said, wonderful. Would you like to meet and Zoom in with one of the Clinton 12? And they all kind of freaked out. They all were like, this is excited, amazing, whatever you name it. And they had an afternoon to speak to Joanne Allen Boyce. And I just want to read you what they got out of that moment. One person said this: always turn your focus from the negative to the positive. You can be anything you want to be. You are as good as anyone else. Keep working towards your goals, ignore the distractions, and you can do or become whatever you set your mind to. Her parents were courageous people who coached her to always work hard towards her dreams and look for the positive. Another girl wrote, stay in touch with your friends. As Joanne shared, Miss Joanne and Miss Gail Ann are still best friends after more than 60 years of living in different states. Make time to talk with close friends and find opportunities to get together in person. Another person wrote, never let go of your dreams. Miss Joanne was inspired to write a book about her experiences when she was 15, but didn't know where to start and was busy with her life. When she was in her 50s, an author saw on Facebook a post of the Clinton 12 and said it would be a good book. The author contacted Mrs. Joanne and they wrote This Promise of Change together over the next several years. It may take decades, but hold on to your dreams and they will happen. Another person wrote, when hard or painful things happen, lean into your faith. Another person wrote, think through things on your own. Don't just take someone else's word. And finally, another girl wrote, stand up for what is right. Speak up when you see something that is not right. Be courageous. Wouldn't that be awesome if every kid heard those stories? We can all study in a textbook, but who can beat Joanne Allen Boyce coming to your school? Who can beat one of the Freedom Riders? Who can beat, you name it, Sharon Robinson, daughter of Jackie Robinson? Nobody can. So I, as a teacher, yes, I teach what's in my standards, in my textbooks, but if I can find a first-hand account, I'm gonna bring them. And so again, as director and one of 2 people on the committee of A Walk in Their Shoes, for 14 years, this is what we've been doing. And I would like to bring this to Stevens Point, throughout the state of Wisconsin, throughout America, A Walk in Their Shoes, because there's no better way to learn than to walk in somebody else's shoes for a second. So I'm at 12 minutes, Mayor Wiesa.
You're doing pretty good. It's great. No, and I want to thank you for joining us tonight. I know it wasn't even touching the tip of the iceberg on the things that you and I have talked about over the last couple of weeks. But I want to encourage everybody to take a look at, you can Google it, A Walk in Their Shoes, and find out some of the cool things that Colin is doing. And I want to assure everybody here, I told Colin this already, that I'm going to do whatever I can to bring Colin and some of those speakers, that piece of history, something that you're going to hear firsthand to Stevens Point. And I don't want to limit it to schools. I'd like to see it as a community-wide event and invite everybody, because we all need to hear these things. And we don't want that history to be lost. And hearing it firsthand is one of the best ways we can preserve it. So thank you very much, Colin. You mentioned that the boy who harnessed the wind. We talked about that early on in our conversations, and it's available on Netflix. So if you search that movie, you'll find it. I watched it the same night we talked about it because it seemed so inspiring after Colin and I discussed it. It's a good movie, and it hopefully will inspire you as much as it did me. Thank you again, Colin, for joining us.
You bet. Thank you. Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy holidays.
Thanks. All right, we are now on to our regular agenda, which is including item number 6, which is our consent agenda. Are there any alders that wish to pull anything from the consent agenda? Hearing none. Alders, what are your wishes? President Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Thank you very much. Do we have a second? Seconded by Jennings. Discussion. And again, I'm going to go extra slow. I think we have a record number of people on our Zoom tonight, 53 right now. So I'm going to go extra slow just to make sure everybody who wants to speak has the ability to speak. Seeing no discussion, alderpersons, I would ask that when you vote, unmute yourself, of course, and Clerk Enter, please call the roll.
Jennings.
Aye.
Shore.
Aye.
Nabel.
Aye.
Zarazua.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Slowinski.
Aye.
Kneebone.
Aye.
Leek.
Aye.
Dalton.
Dalton. Aye.
Fischler.
Aye.
Morrow.
Aye.
That is unanimous and that is approved. Item number 7 is a resolution in regards to the Hmong New Year celebration. It was actually, it happened already. It was a statewide event, but we have, for the past several years, recognized that, and this is a resolution in support of the Hmong New Year 2020. President Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Since I wrote that at the request of a number of my Hmong friends and constituents, I make a motion to approve.
Thank you very much. Is there a second? Seconded by Zarazua. Any discussion on the resolution? Hearing none. Clerk, would you please call that roll?
Morrow.
Aye.
Fischler.
Aye.
Dalton.
Aye.
Leek.
Aye.
Kneebone.
Aye.
Slowinski.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Zarazua.
Aye.
Nabel.
Aye.
Shore.
Aye.
Jennings.
Aye.
Thank you. That is unanimously approved. On page 78, you'll find another resolution, and that is for World Migratory Bird Day. This reaffirms our commitment to World Migratory Bird Day, which is part of the application process to be a Bird City USA. Bird City USA is a status that we have achieved for over 30 years. Sorry, I take that back. We are at, I think it's 27. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the award that we just got. And we have been the high flyer every single year that they've allowed it. Thanks very much in part to the hard work of Dr. Kent Hall and his team putting together the application process. Unfortunately, Dr. Hall is not going to be able to carry that burden any further. So we're looking for someone to take up the cross and submit the application for Bird City USA, of which this Migratory Bird Day resolution is part of. But right now, we're only considering the resolution. Alders, what are your wishes?
Mayor, I would, Alder Kneebone, I would move to approve the resolution.
Thank you very much.
I'll second that, Leek.
Leak seconds. I know there were a ton of hands that popped up, but thank you. That shows the support of this council for our migratory birds. Any discussion on the resolution?
I would have something, Your Honor. I would have
Alder
something
Morrow?
there. Kent Hall has done a lot of this for years and years and years. I know this has been, this has been like the fruit of a lot of his labor that he has really done to really promote this for the years that I've been on city council. And I know that he's been doing that for years prior as well.
Absolutely.
I just wanted to acknowledge all the hard work that he had.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Clerk Cantor, would you please call the roll? The motion is to approve the resolution.
Jennings,
Aye.
Shore.
Aye.
Nabel,
Aye.
Zarazua.
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Slowinski,
Aye.
Kneebone,
Aye.
Leek.
Aye.
Dalton,
Aye.
Fischler,
Aye.
Morrow.
Unanimous consent, that motion is adopted. Excuse me. Item number 9 is a request for approval of overlap hiring with regards to the assistant to the mayor retirement. As I mentioned earlier, Kelly, after 30 plus years, is retiring. She has accrued some benefits. So rather than take a lump sum, she is spreading them out. And we are seeking permission, as we've done in the past many times, to overlap hiring. We've talked to comptroller treasurer. There is enough savings with the way things are falling with Kelly's salary and hiring at the step 1 or step 2 of the original grade. So we should be covered on there under that. Lisa, our HR manager, anything to add?
I don't think so, Mayor. I think that it's pretty well covered. Again, as you stated, this is something that we've done in the past for other positions, and would appreciate the support of the City Council tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderpersons, what are your wishes? We'll go to Alder Shore and then President Johnson.
Thanks. Well, I would first of all echo your message of congratulations and thanks to Kelly. And obviously here we're dealing with an aspect of such long service, which is that she accrued enough leave benefit that she will be gone but not gone, I guess, kind of that nether region. But we don't want to leave the position open and the work undone. So I move approval of the hiring.
Thank you. President Johnson, was that a second?
It is a second. It's a sound strategy. I use it in my hiring. You hate to lose that institutional knowledge. It's a wise decision.
Thank you very much. Okay. Alder Jennings, the answer to your question in the comments is yes, to speak when item number 10 rolls. The motion before you is to approve. Is there any further discussion on that? Alder Nabel.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to again also say I've known Kelly for quite a while. And when I started 4 years ago as an alder, she certainly made me feel comfortable about anything that I had questions on, or what was right and how to come in to meet with the mayor. And she always made me feel like the mayor's open at any time. Just don't feel intimidated. You should make sure you get to know all the department heads. And she just gave good advice, and just in general. And I want to really say how much I appreciate it, because when you're there that long, you do know the ins and outs of everything. And when you're new, you need people like that. So she's been wonderful, and she well deserves this retirement. So I wish her the best.
Thank you. And as I said, those of you who know her or have worked with her, please stop by or drop her a note, send her an email, a card. I know she'd appreciate hearing from you. Any other discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Yenter, could you please call the roll?
Morrow.
Aye.
Fischler.
Aye.
Aye. Dalton.
Aye.
Leek.
Aye.
Kneebone.
Aye.
Slowinski.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Zarazua.
Aye.
Nabel.
Aye.
Shore.
Aye.
Jennings.
Aye.
That is unanimous consent, and that is approved. Item number 10 is a unique situation. We don't have these very often, but it is a request for reconsideration. This request came from Alder Fischler. You needed someone who had voted in the affirmative or the winning side, if you will, to make a request for reconsideration regarding action that took place on November 16th regarding the Edgewater Manor The request for reconsideration is a motion for all intents and purposes. And I'll explain things here and then we'll go into the actual process. The motion does need a second, and then discussion ensues among the council regarding that motion. Only that motion is debatable. We can't talk about possible plans for Edgewater or what might happen or how we might do an RFP or how we might do the grant program. That will only come if the motion to reconsider is successful. So the debate will be limited to whether or not you should reconsider. And then we'll call for a vote on the reconsideration. If the reconsideration is successful, meaning a majority vote, then we will move on to redebate the action of the November 16th Common Council regarding Edgewater Manor. If the motion fails, everything fails on that line item and we move on to item number 11. So with that, is there a second to the motion to reconsider? Is there a second?
Alder Dalton, I would second the motion.
Alder Dalton is seconding the motion. Okay, so we have a second. Now we may debate the merits of the reconsideration. And since it was Alder Fischler's request, there was a memorandum included in your packet. I will turn the floor over to Alder Fischler.
Thank you, Mayor. The reason I wanted to bring this forward to the council is because on November 16th, had I had this information prior, I would have made a different decision. And I felt that sometimes when we make decisions, we find out information afterwards that could have changed that decision initially. And I felt like it wouldn't be right if I didn't bring it forward in case any other alders chose to change their decision as well. And the information that I wanted to bring forward was that there was a big rush to, or there was insinuation that we should really make sure that we give people ample time to put in their applications from Edgewater Manor over to the Berkshire. And it wasn't until the finance meeting that I found out that there are 22 people that wouldn't even be considered to live at the Berkshire, even if they did put in their applications, because they're on their voucher program. The other thing that I thought was a little concerning was that I guess it was my idea at the time, and maybe I didn't have all the information at the time, or maybe it was brought forward. And if it was, then that's on me that I didn't hear it. But I don't remember hearing it on November 16th in regards to how many people might be accepted at Edgewater. So, I'm sorry, how many people might be accepted at the Berkshire if they did put in their applications. So imagine my surprise when I find out there, maybe there are 30 people that will be accepted over there. That still leaves over 50 people that will need to find locations, in other places to live. So with that information alone is why I wanted to bring forth this request for consideration on the Edgewater. Thank you.
Thank you, Alder Fischler. We'll move to Alder Jennings and then Alder Dalton.
Thank you, Mayor. Last month, the majority of this council had the courage to make the difficult decision to deal with Edgewater in a just and fiscally responsible way. A decision that provided a pathway for staff together with Edgewater residents to finally plan a secure future and stop this cruel rehashing of a building that is nearing the end of its useful life without millions of dollars of investment. When I learned Wednesday that an alder was pursuing reconsideration, I wondered why a parliamentary procedure like reconsideration exists, because it could bring government and governing to a crawl. Any council member who did not like the way a vote went could pursue reconsideration as long as they were not on the prevailing side. I therefore turned to the League of Municipalities, Robert's Rules of Order, and spoke with a former elected official in Madison and our city attorney to gain clarity on why such a parliamentary procedure exists and how that squares with this agenda item. Robert's Rules of Order, section 37 explains that reconsideration enables the body majority within a limited time to reconsider and possibly correct, quote, hasty, ill-advised, or erroneous action, or to take into account added information that has developed since the taking of the vote, unquote. Roberts recognizes and provides protection against abuse of reconsideration. Unfortunately, the city's Standing Rule 2.21 does not provide the protections against abuse outlined in Robert's Rules of Order. For example, the motion to reconsider according to Roberts can only be made on the same day the vote to be reconsidered was taken. Reconsideration is not intended to be a time when elected officials may simply change their mind, especially when under pressure after a vote was taken. In terms of new information, any decision given enough time will acquire new details and possible new outcomes. That is not the point of reconsideration. The memo submitted by Alder Fischler on Thursday claims that reconsideration is justified based on new information that was not available at last month's Common Council. This statement fails to align with procedural intent. Among the many difficult debates that City Council has undertaken, last month's consideration of Edgewater was thorough, it was informed, and discussion about potential buyers was included in the debate. Buyers for Edgewater have been discussed for the past 10 years. There is nothing remotely new about someone potentially buying Edgewater, even if someone has been identified. The majority of this council decided that selling Edgewater was not a path that ensured protection for residents, and it was not a fiscally responsible path, as multiple directors of community development, our comptroller treasurer, and city attorney have shown this and previous councils. The decision to move forward with implementation of a grant program and transition residents out of Edgewater 2 to 3 years from now was not a decision made in haste. It was not ill-advised if we accept that our city staff has expertise and decades of experience, nor was there anything erroneous in the decision. On the contrary, this has been one of the most thoroughly debated and morally difficult issues Stevens Point government has faced in recent history. None of us took this decision lightly. It has been hard for staff and every person on council. Lastly, the claim of new information is nothing more than further details on what was already understood and debated. This agenda item does not rise to a parliamentary motion to reconsider, and I will not be supporting it. Thank you.
Thank you. Alder Dalton, and then Alder Leek.
Thank you. Yes, I think that a motion to reconsider is a very important part of Robert's rules and our procedures, because when new information is come to light and when circumstances can change as they do at times, it allows at our next meeting at least to be able to reconsider. So there's not an ongoing and drawn out process, but if something is immediate and important, then we can further review our choices from a previous decision. And I think that's a very important part of making decisions that affect our entire community. The information in particular that was not known in the November meeting is that there's not just someone, but many interested parties now that have come forward, both to our director and myself, presenting that they would be very interested in putting together a proposal and that to potentially take ownership of the manor, and that they are fit to do so, understanding the conditions of the building. And I think that it is a very responsible first step to at least allow that opportunity, and we can create perhaps a better motion and action item that includes that as a first step and opening the city to a better outcome and opportunity before deciding to vacate, which we can continue to do if the no proposal is adequate in 4 months' time. So I would ask us to further discuss and consider knowing that information.
See, I'm the one that puts myself on mute now. Thank you very much, Alder Dalton. Before we move to the next speaker, Alder Leek, I would like to get a point of clarification because in my discussions, I'm hearing contrary information to Dalton's testimony. Director Karnowski, have you been contacted by any developers to date since the action on November 16th in regards to the possibility of acquiring Edgewater?
When the discussion was first had on November 16th, I had no indication from any outside party that there was an interest in acquiring Edgewater Manor. That occurred after the decision was made on November 16th. I had one interested party contact me. They did indicate that they were not interested in pursuing the request for proposal and would rather buy the property outright from the city without going through the request for proposal process. Since that time, I've had no other developers or other interested parties contact me in regards to the issuance of the request for proposal and putting together proposals. So as of the November 16th decision, at that time, there was no clearly identified party that wanted to submit a proposal to own, operate Edgewater Manor.
Thank you, Director. And one follow-up question: the person that contacted you in regards to buying it outright rather than going through the RFP process, was there any implied conditions that they would keep it senior housing or anything? Did they imply that at all?
The only information I received from the individuals that they were willing to offer what essentially amounted to a specific amount of money for the property. But there was no commitment to keeping the property as affordable senior housing, no.
Thank you. Thank you for that clarification. Alder Leek, you have the floor next.
You know, I've been hearing from people on both sides of this issue, and you know, I have been undecided, but as to whether it's worth reconsidering. But when I came back to it, I came to the conclusion that buildings just don't last forever, and sometimes you need to build something new. And if someone is living in that building, and that building has to be replaced, there's going to be a problem, whether that problem is now, next year, or in 10 years. I've basically come down on the side of not reconsidering, simply because it seems to me we are more or less well prepared to handle the complications that come with moving people, whether into the Berkshire or elsewhere now, and we cannot know that we will be likewise prepared in the future to do so. And that is why I think I'm coming down on the side of not reconsidering. Is simply that we do not solve a problem by reconsidering it. We push it out another year or 5 years or 10 years, and that may be good to get a little bit more life out of a building. But if we don't know that we are prepared that we will be prepared in the same way that we might be now, and cognizant of the issues surrounding it then, as we are now, then we might as well just do this.
Thank you very much. Alder Nabel, you were next, and then Alder Shore. Cindy, Alder, you have to unmute yourself. It's okay. It happens to all of us.
I was going to say you didn't have to hear me clear my throat so much, but you did after all. Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Council. I've had a lot of different feelings going back and forth on this, and I was not around for the November voting. I was frustrated because I understand the dilemma for the people that are living there. I understand and have gone through it with my own parents, what a move takes and does and how much it takes out of those people. It is devastating for some. Some people don't have people to help them move. It's a tough thing for any of us to make this decision, and none of it, I just want to make sure everybody realize this council and the department heads have thought this through very well. I have one regret, that back in 2018, when we looked at Berkshire, that we didn't say right then and there. We already knew. We knew that we couldn't afford to put the 4.1 million in there, and Berkshire was maybe a possibility for us to find a way to help these people. And that was something I was on board for. And it bothers me sometimes that it doesn't come out clearly right at the time when we've known for a while that this was not going to work, and we had people's hopes up. And that for itself, I feel very, very saddened about. I will not be running for council next term. And I hope that we will be a little more transparent when these things happen, because it is sad, it is hard. And knowing this then would have been better than knowing it now. I know they have a couple of years yet, but I do agree it's inevitable. And they have an option here. And that's what we were looking for when we got Berkshire. And we don't want to make this any harder. It's going to be hard. There's no doubt about it. But I do trust and believe in our council, and I believe in our treasurer, and I believe in our city comptroller, treasurer, and I also really believe in Ryan Kronowski, that they will do everything in their power to make sure that these people, as much as they can, that they will find positions or places for them. And that is how I can say I will not accept this as a, let's keep doing this and look for more. We can't keep doing this to these people. So thank you.
Thank you, Alder Nabel. Alder Shore, you have the floor. And then Zarazua.
Thank you, Mayor. I mean, to say what everybody is saying, this is a very difficult issue, difficult decision. I was on the losing side of the 7-3 vote last month. And the discussion a little bit earlier about a potential buyer, that issue was related to my vote then. Last month, even though I knew that it was late, I opened myself to the possibility that, you know, maybe there was an 11th hour solution, but it was the 11th hour. And so if that solution was going to emerge, it really needed to emerge in a very robust way. And as was just discussed, it did not. The other key point is the one that was raised in the motion for reconsideration, and that is the relationship between the Berkshire and Edgewater. And I think the key point here is that the Berkshire was not supposed to be the whole solution in terms of that match in numbers. It wasn't that, you know, there could be like a wholesale shift of all the residents, but that it is a piece of the solution. And to even have that limited number is helpful to the process. And then the last thing I'll say, I will be opposing the motion for reconsideration, despite my vote a month ago, is in the lines of what we've been saying about that everybody is genuinely concerned about the residents. And for that reason, maybe this is already planned, but I think the council would probably appreciate regular progress reports. We know that it is going to take those 2 to 3 years, maybe less. But you know, knowing all the work that Director Karnowski and Comptroller Treasurer Laddick put into the grants program, and you know, in trying to help with that transition, it would be good to know in the months, year to, and you know, if it takes longer, kind of how that's going in terms of residents finding another solution. Thanks.
Thank you, Alder Zarazua.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to say first, and I know people have mentioned this, but This was not an easy decision for any of us. We truly care about the people who live in Edgewater, and we know that's their home. And I think that's why we've gone through a compassionate way to have people eventually move. I mean, in general, I am pretty sure you will not find a different landlord in town who, if they decide they're not going to rent to people, they'll just give a portion of the rent money back to support the tenants in their new place. I mean, that's not going to happen anywhere else. I think we're doing everything we can to make this as smooth of a transition as possible. We're giving a lot of time for people to move. We understand people are elderly, they might need more support and need more time, and I feel that we're really being gracious to give that. We're doing everything we can to be supportive. I've wrestled with this decision back and forth and talked with numerous people, and I really do feel that we're making the right decision in what we chose last month. I think it wasn't just a decision we made last month. This is years of discussions about what's going to happen with Edgewater. Is the building sound? Who's going to pay for all these repairs? How do we do the repairs and keep the rents affordable for the people who live there? So I feel we came up with a really solid solution last month. Thank you to the directors and staff who all had a part in that. And as much as it hurts to say it, because I know people are hoping for a different outcome, I really don't think that we should change the decision that we made last month.
Thank you very much. President Johnson, then Alderperson Kneebone.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I too will be opposing the reconsideration request. I've learned some things too since the last meeting. For instance, 17% of the residents at Edgewater make over $2,000 a month. We have 2 individuals who earn more than $4,000 a month. And we have 3 individuals that are making at least $3,000 a month. And we have 1 individual making over $5,000 a month. 33% of the residents at Edgewater make what would be the equivalent of a working wage of about $7.80 an hour to $11 an hour. And of course, that would be pre-tax for somebody who is employed. I think the bigger question here is we have an issue about affordable housing, not just for our elders or those who may find themselves with disabilities, but for working families working for low wages. I can hear Kathy Dugan talking about the Alice report, and she was, after that always, 40% of our families in our community are living below what would be considered a living wage, trying to find housing, trying to pay for school things, trying to raise their kids, trying to pay for dental costs, whatever else their living costs are. So this is a bigger policy issue, not just Edgewater. Edgewater is just a building. Our policy issue is really related to affordable housing, which we are working on. I agree that we probably need to have a transition plan that is sound and compassionate and has the right kind of resources. I've already been in communication with the director at the ADRC. I've talked with Director Kanowski about this, and Comptroller Treasurer Laddick. I'm proposing that we build a transition team. I am willing to volunteer on that because I'm very passionate about this. I've raised my kids in poverty. I many times did not know if I had a roof over my head. This is not unfamiliar to me. I know what it feels like. Unfortunately, I didn't have as many resources available as what the city is offering now. We can do a better job. And I will be opposing this reconsideration and instead focusing on the best interests of the residents and finding a compassionate way to transition them into other affordable housing for those who truly need it. Obviously, someone making $5,000 a month does not need the city's support. Thank you.
Alder Kneebone, and then Alder Slawinski.
Thank you, Mayor. I also will oppose the reconsideration. This is the kind of vote that's very difficult, as many of my colleagues have said. My heart feels one way, and then I put on my urban planner hat, and I see that what we have here is chasing, or maybe throwing good money after bad. The age of the building, the condition of the building, the costs involved in bringing that building up to code will preclude, I think, even a fairy godmother from coming down and, in their infinite altruism, showering Edgewater Manor with enough money to pay for the facade and nothing else. That's not going to happen. I think that we owe a duty to the taxpayers. Right now, that property does not generate the tax revenue that it could. I think we can spare a lot of staff time writing a proposal that's not going to draw the kind of outcome that people want. In my mind, it's a lose-lose. I think what President Johnson said, a compassionate transition, this is where my heart goes out to people. I wouldn't want to have to be facing losing my home. And I'm about the same age, I'm sure, as a lot of the folks that live there. But the reality is it's an aging building. It needs too much repair work to ever make it affordable. So I don't see that we really have any other choice other than to be responsible to the wider community, to the taxpayers, and try to make that a productive piece of property in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Alder Slawinski, you have the floor.
Yeah, when I seen this on the agenda last month when we had voted on this, as you know, I've been on council for quite a long time, and this property has been talked about over and over and over and over again. We have pretty much we've done the RFPs. We've, obviously did our due diligence to find out how much it would cost to fix it. We kept it. And again, when this first came up, I was torn again. I'm really concerned about these residents there, and if with the transition, just like most other alders have just said. But I think it's time to move forward. We cannot keep looking back. We've made the decision last month. It's time to move ahead with our transition process, continue working with that grant program, make this as stressless as possible for these residents. My concern is if we go back, we get the RFPs, it could get muddy again. And we're just putting more stress on these residents, and that's where I'm concerned. So I will not be supporting this reconsideration. Thank you.
I am just off my mute game today. I apologize. Alder Moore, are you the only one that hasn't spoken? I'll give you the floor if you'd like to do that.
Yes, the reason why I voted the way I did the last time was I've been on council a while as well. And all the times in the past when Edgewater would come up, the residents did not want the city to sell. And that was a big point. And now this time around, the residents are asking us to sell. And so I know the last time we had RFPs, we did have a few folks that did post bids. And that's why I was hoping this time around, since the residents did want to sell and they felt like that they were in a better position, that this was the time for them to kind of be in charge of their own fate. And that position really has not changed.
Thank you very much. Okay, all of the alders have spoken, barring any other discussion on the request for reconsideration. I will have the clerk call the roll.
Jennings,
No.
Shore,
No.
Nabel,
No.
Zarazua,
No.
Johnson,
No.
Slowinski,
No.
Kneebone,
No.
Leek,
No.
Dalton,
Yes.
Fischler,
Yes.
Morrow,
Yes.
I have
or 8-3.
8-3, the motion to reconsider fails. Moving on to item number 11, it's a resolution, and it's a request from Mark Irwin for a conditional use permit to construct multiple storage buildings consistent with Chapter 2301, Sub 13, Sub F. And that would be, I'm sorry, Chapter 23.02, Sub 4, Sub E, 3.4, Sub 1 at 5017 Heffron Street with the parcel identified. Director Karnowski, anything to add?
Nothing additional to add. Thank you.
Alders, what are your wishes?
This is Alder Slowinski. I would move approval of the resolution as stated.
Was that a second, President Johnson? That is a second by President Johnson. Discussion on the resolution. Hearing none. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Morrow,
Aye.
Fischler,
Aye.
Dalton,
Dalton. Aye.
Leek,
Aye.
Kneebone,
Aye.
Slowinski,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Zarazua,
Aye.
Nabel,
Aye.
Shore,
Aye.
Jennings.
Aye.
11-0, that is adopted. Item number 12 is a resolution. The requester at this time is Jeff Disher, representing Disher Properties LLC, to rezone a property at 4912 County Road Double H from B1 neighborhood business to B4 commercial. Again, Director, anything to add?
Nothing additional to add.
This was approved at the Plan Commission. Alders, what are your wishes?
Again, this is my district. I would move approval of the stated resolution.
Thank you. Do we have a second? Seconded by Kneebone. Discussion. Hearing and seeing none. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Jennings,
Aye.
Shore,
Aye.
Nabel,
Aye.
Zarazua,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Slowinski,
Aye.
Kneebone,
Aye.
Leek,
Aye.
Dalton,
Dalton. Aye.
Fischler,
Aye.
Morrow.
Aye.
Okay, that unanimous consent, that is also approved. Item number 14 is a resolution, a request from William Yutchitz for a conditional use permit to construct a storage facility consistent with Chapter 2301, Sub 13, Sub F at 1309 Dubay Avenue. Director, anything to add there?
Nothing additional.
Mayor, I think you skipped one, didn't you? Item 13.
That was, oh, I'm sorry, you're right. 2 Jeff Dishers in a row. My apologies, Alders. Sorry, with the glasses moving up and down, I saw Jeff Disher and they're written similar. So item number 13, back to number 13 is a resolution, which is a request from Jeff Disher representing Disher Properties LLC for a conditional use permit to construct an office addition consistent with the chapters identified at 4912 County Road Double H.
I'll move approval.
Alder Slowinski moves approval. Do we have a second? Seconded by President Johnson. Discussion on that. Hearing none. Clerk, would you please call that roll?
Morrow,
Aye.
Fischler,
Aye.
Dalton,
Aye.
Leek,
Aye.
Nebon,
Aye.
Slowinski,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Zarazua,
Aye.
Nabel,
Aye.
Shore,
Aye.
Jennings.
Aye.
Unanimous consent, that is approved. And again, I apologize. I'm gonna go in for a new eye exam, I think, so I can try and get these glasses squared away. Item number 14 is a resolution from request from William Yutchits for a conditional use permit to construct a storage facility consistent with chapter identified at 1309 Dubay Avenue. Now, Director Karnowski, anything to add on that one?
Nothing to add.
Okay, I do believe Mr. Yutchits was going to try and join us by phone. Mr. Yutchits, are you with us? I see the name, but I don't see any movement. Mr. Yutchits, did you wish to speak on this item?
I guess not.
I'm going to request an unmute just in case he's having technical difficulties. Sometimes that happens. Okay, at this point, I don't see.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yutchits, you're on.
Yeah, my technical ability is kind of like a dinosaur, I guess. I'm looking at the letter that I received from the city Department of Community Development from Adam Kuhn, if I'm saying that correctly. And there's 6 points on there. And number 2 on it is the applicant shall enter into an agreement or memorandum with an understanding that no additional building shall be constructed on the property without the extension of fire protection, hydrant, or proper suppression system being installed consistent with the Department of Community Development and then department approval or something like that. Just to give everybody a little bit of a background, I have developed a property that's the remnant of the Zenoff baseball parks. We purchased the property from Mr. Zenoff way back in, I think, in 1990. We have 2 lots out there that are certified. When Mr. Gardner was the Director of Community Development, we were given multifamily on 1 lot where I have my personal residence and an apartment. And we went with, I think, an M1 light industrial on the other so that we can run our architectural and construction business on that one. And that's the parcel that we're discussing tonight. So in this, it says, you know, we can't build anything beyond this, and I can understand that. But does that, a clarification, does that mean that we can't build anything on my residential zoned property?
The clarification, Mr. Yutchits, would be this resolution applies to 1309 Dubay Avenue only.
Okay, thank you. That's
anything to add? Director Karnowski, anything to add there?
No, the major concern from both the Community Development Department and the city's fire department really relied on the fact that there are no hydrants within several thousand feet of the property. There are some long-term plans to loop the system, bringing the hydrant and the water mains through Dubay Avenue and then crossing I-39. That is several years down the road if that were to ever occur. Obviously, the response time, because of the limited tanker capacities of the city's fire department, are taken into consideration as well. So I believe there's an existing 3 or 4 buildings on the property already. City staff, in consultation against the fire department, felt as though for that specific one at 1309 Dubay Avenue, that should be the last building developed on that property until there's proper fire suppression provided.
Thank you, Director. Mr. Yutchits, anything to add?
Yes, number 5 on the points from the city. The applicant shall obtain a right-of-way permit for the proposed driveway subject to the review and approval of the Public Works and Community Development Department staff meeting applicable right-of-way and zoning code standards. When I bought the property from Mr. Zenoff 30-some years ago, we put that driveway in. And I find it kind of offensive that I'm supposed to go out and now get a public right-of-way and a permit for that. And I don't understand how staff can require that when it's already been there for 30 years.
Director?
So as my understanding is there's currently one point of access off of Dubay Avenue. In the event, again, that there's a fire or anything like that, having a secondary access to the property is very critical for maneuvering of the fire trucks. It was also, I believe, included in the applicant's application that he was going to provide a second access onto Dubay Avenue. And so a standard right-of-way permit is fairly typical and part of the conditions. So staff was justified, I believe, in providing that as a condition of approval.
Thank you, Director.
I'm going back. Yes.
Your question?
No, it doesn't, because it's always been there. Staff has not been out there. When I talked to Adam, he said, well, you really will have to pave it. And I said to you this afternoon when you were so nice to call me, I said, come out here with a shovel and try and dig through my gravel because there's concrete on it. When we actually had some extra concrete, we poured concrete on our approach to that driveway. And my site plan only showed what was there, and we highlighted where we were going to add gravel to access our storage building. So I think the city is not correct in this request.
Mr. Yetchis, are you contending that there were already 2 points of access to those properties?
Correct. I'm saying the city staff did not do their duty.
Again, just for clarification, you're saying that there are already 2 driveways on that property. Is that correct?
Correct. You want to come out tomorrow? I will take you through them.
I may take you up on that, Mr. Yetchis.
Okay.
Director, do you have anything to add there? Because I haven't been out there. I don't know.
I have not been to the site. I'm looking at the aerial photo currently, which was taken in the spring of 2020, and there appears to be only one point of access off of Dubay Avenue. I think it's still appropriate to continue to provide that as a condition of approval.
Sure, and if there is, we can always work on it. Attorney Beveridge, you have your hand raised. Hopefully you can shed some light here. Mr. Yetchis, I'm going to mute you for a minute because we're getting some feedback.
Yes, Mayor. I'm not sure there's as much of a dispute here as meets the eye. The right-of-way permit is what we require somebody to get when they're going to perform work to build improvements within the right-of-way. For instance, you're going to redo your driveway apron, you would need to get a right-of-way permit, that sort of thing. So all this would really mean here is that if there is in fact a need to build a second access point, this would be the permitting process for the portion of that access that will be built in the right-of-way. So if there's already 2 access points, well, then you won't need a right-of-way permit because there won't need nothing will need to be built. But it sounds as though Mr. Yetchits was believing this right-of-way permit to somehow pertain to his legal ability to maintain the use of an already existing drive. That's not what this permit represents. It's more just like a building permit, except for a bit of driveway that connects to the road through the right-of-way.
Thank you. And again, just for clarification, Attorney Beveridge, you're saying if that second driveway does already exist and there is no improvement to that second driveway or either driveway really, then no right-of-way permit is required. Is that correct?
A right-of-way permit, as I understand it, is only required if there's going to be construction by a private party within the city's right-of-way.
Thank you very much. And we can easily verify that. As a matter of fact, Director Konoski, we will set a time to go out there tomorrow to verify that, but it shouldn't, as you said, affect the conditional use permit as presented. Mr. Yetchits, I'm going to give you another opportunity. If you had any more questions, I will ask to unmute you again. Doesn't seem to be working, but I'm going to go extra slow here and take a little more time just in case there's some more.
Hello?
There you go. You're on.
Okay. I guess I had to do something too.
Yep.
My third point that I would like to discuss is that I've been in the city for strong 40 years doing projects. Generally, we follow whatever needs to be done. We knew that winter was coming up, and we needed to do some concrete work for this project before all of the permits and everything were done. I talked to Adam and I talked to Hamina, the building inspector. Hamina said, come in and pay $350 and you can get an early start permit. I did that, dropped off the check, and within a day, day and a half later, Adam said, you have to stop building. We had already formed our concrete up, and I know more than anybody else after 40 some years of building here that if you want to get your slabs in, you get them in as early as you can, and we were lucky enough to have good weather. I put in my slabs, and now the city departments are saying that I need to pay double building permits. And I think that I was giving a verbal commitment. Hamina will say, well, I didn't give you an actual commitment, but why would I bring in $350, put it down so that she could finish the permit, and then have Adam tell her that she can't go ahead and give out the early start permit?
Mr. Yutchits, I'm going to stop you there because that is a separate issue.
Okay.
And we can discuss it internally. However, if you do not feel you get resolution after we discuss it internally, we do have an appeals process and we'll make you fully aware of that. Director Konoski and I will schedule a time to visit tomorrow, visit the site, and we will bring our associate planner out there as well so we can get that squared away. But as far as the fee goes and the early start, we'll discuss it internally. If we cannot bring it to successful resolution, we will provide you with a path to an appeal.
Thank you.
Anything else, Mr. Yutchits?
No, thanks.
Thank you. Back to the council.
Mr. Mayor, this is in my area. William, I have been out to this place. I don't recall if there was one or two ways to actually get in. I know he is a long time developer in our area. He's developed several sites around here as well. I have no doubt that things will be able to be worked out. I would move to approve the permit as stated.
Thank you. Is there a second? Seconded by Fischler. Any discussion there? Hearing none. Alder Jennings, did you have some comment?
Yeah, I'm just curious why this didn't come forward in Plan Commission, because I feel a little bit confused what we're voting on if these particular objections.
It was in the Plan Commission for the conditional use.
No, I know that, but these particular issues that the applicant has were not discussed in Plan.
Oh, I see. I can't speak to that. That would be more of an applicant question. I can unmute or attempt to unmute Mr. Yutchits again if you'd like to respond.
I agree with the alderperson. The first time I heard of number 2 and number 5, which were the ones that I'm asking questions about, the first time I heard those was when this was typed up and sent to me via email. I had been very explicit, over the top explicit with Adam. I can show you an email I sent him. I said, my driveway was there before you were born. So I don't think that was very nice the way I said it, but I'll tell you this, it has been there from the very day I bought it from Zenoff. So I had never seen that in there. And then this number 2 was never discussed at the Plan Commission, and I don't really have a problem. As an architect, builder, developer, owner, I understand that. There is no more room on my property to build anything else, so I have no problem with it, even if I had a problem with it. So I do have a problem when staff doesn't, I had a basic agreement with Adam that I had a driveway, and then he turned around and put the number 5 in there, and I don't like that.
We'll get the issue of the driveway resolved tomorrow morning. So that's, I think we're covered on that one. As Logan said, unless there's going to be work in the right of way, there won't be a required permit. And if a driveway already exists, it's very likely that work will not be needed in the right of way. Any other discussion? We have a motion and a second to approve the conditional use request as presented. If you're in favor, vote yes. If you are opposed, vote no, and the clerk will call the roll.
Jennings,
Aye.
Shore,
Aye.
Nabel,
Aye.
Zarazua,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Slowinski,
Aye.
Kneebone,
Aye.
Leek,
Aye.
Dalton,
Aye.
Fischler,
Aye.
Morrow.
Aye.
11-0. Item number 15, that is approved, by the way. Item number 15 is a resolution and request from Holy Spirit Parish for a sign variance to construct a second freestanding sign at 838 Fremont Street. This was discussed at the Plan Commission. Director Karnowski, anything to add here?
Nothing to add.
Okay, Alder Nabel? Unmute.
I'm sorry, that's what I get for being gone a month. I would like to approve this resolution for the sign request for the Holy Spirit Parish.
Thank you. I have a motion to approve. Alder Shore, was that a second?
Yes, my district is just yards from this spot.
Seconded by Alder Shore. Discussion there. Seeing none, clerk, would you please call the roll?
Morrow,
Aye.
Fischler,
Aye.
Dalton,
Aye.
Leek,
Aye.
Kneebone,
Aye.
Slowinski,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Zarazua,
Aye.
Nabel,
Aye.
There we go.
Shore,
Aye.
Jennings.
Aye.
Okay, unanimous consent, that is approved. Item number 16 is a ordinance amendment for section 13.04 sub 5 as it relates to service connections. Director Lemke, anything to add here?
Nothing to add.
Nothing to add. Alderpersons, what are your wishes? Alder Nabel.
Unmute. I would like to, oh God, I can't even think. Sorry about that. I'm getting tired. Approve this resolution.
Thank you. We have a motion to approve the ordinance change. President Johnson, did I see your hand for a second? That is a second from President Johnson. Any other discussion? Hearing and seeing none, clerk, please call this roll.
Jennings,
Aye.
Shore,
Aye.
Nabel,
Aye.
Zarazua,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Slowinski,
Aye.
Kneebone,
Aye.
Leek,
Aye.
Dalton,
Aye.
Fischler,
Aye.
Morrow.
Aye.
Unanimous consent, that ordinance amendment is approved. Item number 17 is a final resolution for special assessment for sidewalk installations on Walter Street and the road resurfacing project 20-01. This is the last step in the process to special assess the sidewalks that were installed. Director Badoon, do you have anything to add here?
No, nothing to add.
Alderpersons, what are your wishes? Alder Kneebone.
Thank you. Since it's my district and most of the folks on Walter Street are already mad about the having to pay for the sidewalk, I will move to approve and also add that I've gotten several comments from other residents who just absolutely love it and can't wait to ride their bikes on the bike path on the north side. So thank you, Director Perdoon, for making this a safe route to school.
You have a hand raised.
I'm sorry, hand raised. Is that clapping? Hang on, let me see. Oh, so it's not clapping. Ma'am, let me ask to unmute you, and then we're good to go. You have to accept. There you go. State your name, please, so we know who you are.
My name is Joanne Powell. I'm a resident of Walter Street.
Mayor, we don't have a second yet.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize.
I'll second. I shall wait.
Thank you. Thank you. We have a second by Jennings. Now you may go. I'm sorry, Joanne.
I'm a resident on Walter Street. And yes, it's been a very long process. While the project is completed and looks very upgraded, some of the items on the project are kind of questionable. There's possible death of some trees in the swales, even though they were watered, like southeast of the school. The late project grass seed spray was oversprayed and cleanup is needed. We have sides of trees that are covered in overspray, stop signs that are covered in overspray, and even mailboxes. The grass may need to be redone because it was so late that I'm sure it's going to be damaged by the winter. We're curious about the tax increase expected for the residents due to the installment of the sidewalks for next year. And sidewalk payment was to be deferred 1 year due to hardships on residents and late notification. But we have seen nothing yet in writing on that. And can any of these items that I've mentioned be noted or addressed?
Absolutely. So a couple of things. We will work with our forester and our streets crew to ensure in spring that the grass and the trees are still taken care of and alive. If any of the trees have died over the winter or since installation, they will be replaced. Comptroller Treasurer Laddick, I had not heard of anything regarding a 1 year deferment. Do you know anything about this?
So in terms of a delay, what happens is typically when it gets assessed, if you miss, the time frame to get it on this year's tax bill, then it goes on the next year's tax bill. So I think what the resident is referring to is because obviously tax bills have already gone out. For those residents who choose, say, the 5-year installment option, their first installment would come on next year's tax bill rather than this year's, because of course we're approving it tonight and tax bills have already gone out.
Right. And yeah, now it makes a little more sense. So Joanne, do you understand that? That 1 year deferment means tax bills have already gone out this year. So they will not go on this year's taxes. They will go on next year's tax bill. In effect, a 1 year deferment.
And is there a percentage on that that's already been configured?
Yes. So the basically when a special assessment is done and it's billed out, you get a couple of options. You can pay within 30 days, or if you take the installment option where it goes on your tax bill over 5 years, there is an interest rate assigned to that. That interest rate is 2.25%, so 2.25% interest.
Will there be an additional tax change on my property because of the sidewalks in the near future?
And that one, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to answer that for you tonight. We try and predict what kind of questions might come up, and I didn't have our assessor attend the meeting. But if you call my office tomorrow or you call the city assessor's office tomorrow, they will 100% be able to answer that question for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Not a problem. Anything else we can help you with?
That should do it. So thank you very much.
Great. Any other discussion? We have a motion and a second to approve the final resolution. Any discussion there? Hearing and seeing none. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Morrow.
Aye.
Fischler.
Aye.
Dalton.
Aye.
Leek.
Aye.
Kneebone.
Aye.
Slowinski.
Aye.
Johnson.
Aye.
Zarazua.
Aye.
Nabel.
Aye.
Shore.
Aye.
Jennings.
Aye.
Unanimous consent, that is approved. Item number 19 is ordinance amendment relating to section 9.05 as it relates to parking. Director Badoon.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, just once again, you did skip one there. That
Did I?
was Walter Street. There's another final resolution for street
Jesus,
improvement.
I am so sorry. I'm just really off the game tonight. Item number 18. Item number 18 is a final resolution for special assessments for sidewalk installations in the Street Improvements Project 20.02. What are your wishes there?
Leak here. This is my neighborhood, so I guess I'll move it.
Thank you. Motion by Leak. Is there a second? Second by Shore. Discussion there.
We're, it's a similar situation with what Alder Kneebone said. Not always happy about the assessment. Looking forward to see what it's going to be on my own property. But I guess we got to pay for it.
Thank you. Alder Kneebone?
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I figure my street is probably going to be next. So, Mayor, there was or maybe this goes to Corey. There was a question in the chat room on how the interest rate is determined, and it looks like it's from someone from the public. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention.
Thank you. I would ask whoever that member of the public is to contact the treasurer's office tomorrow, since we've already passed that item. Just contact the treasurer's office tomorrow and they'll be able to help you out with that one as well. Any discussion on the final resolution for project 20.0 or 20-02?
Oh, I guess one more question about that. I suppose
Yes,
it's
sir.
the exact same situation as before. That is, this is going on next year because we're discussing it now.
Correct.
Okay, yeah, that's what I assumed.
Any other discussion? Okay, hearing none. Clerk, would you please call this roll?
Jennings,
Aye.
Shore,
Aye.
Nabel,
Aye.
Zarazua,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Slowinski,
Aye.
Kneebone,
Aye.
Leak,
Aye.
Dalton,
Aye.
Fischler,
Aye.
Morrow.
Aye.
Thank you. Unanimous consent, that is approved. And the question was, since Corey answered it in the chat, I want to make sure to speak it for those maybe on their cell phones and not able to see the chat. It says the interest rate is determined based on the city's cost of borrowing plus 1 to 2% depending on the number of installments. So that's the answer to the interest rate question. And unanimous consent, the resolution was adopted. Item number 19 now is the ordinance amendment as it relates to section 9.05, including parking. Director Badoon.
Nothing to add.
Alderpersons, what are your wishes? Alder Jennings.
Jennings, I'll move to approve.
Thank you. Do we have a second? Seconded by Fischler. Discussion. Hearing none. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Morrow.
Aye.
Fischler,
Aye.
Dalton,
Aye.
Leak,
Aye.
Kneebone,
Aye.
Slowinski,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Zarazua,
Aye.
Nabel,
Aye.
Shore,
Aye.
Jennings.
Aye.
11-0, that is approved. Item number 20 is a request from the city of Stevens Point to purchase 17.35 acres in East Park Commerce Center with the parcel identified. These next two all tie into the Lineage Logistics potential expansion. And they were looking for permission to purchase and then sell back some of that. Director Karnowski, anything to add there?
No, this is just something that would likely occur in the early parts of 2021 as the city continues to negotiate with Lineage Logistics on the development agreement that we've discussed a few times prior.
And Director, correct me if I'm wrong, but we need some of this for right-of-way acquisition anyway, isn't that correct?
Correct. The EMCOPS right-of-way would be extended further east from where it's currently terminating, which is on the east side of the existing Lineage property. And so that coupled with the future planned rail spur, there would be some additional right-of-way or easements provided to the city or to the railroad for that spur as well.
Thank you. Alderpersons, what are your wishes?
This is Alder Morrow. I move to approve the request for the city of Stevens Point to purchase the 17.35 acres in East Park.
Thank you, Alder Morrow. Is there a second?
Leak here. I'll second.
Seconded by Leak. Discussion. Alder Slawinski, did you have something you want to say? Nope.
No, I was seconding it.
I got you. I just saw the little thing come up, so I wanted to make sure. All right. Seeing no one wishing to further discuss, I will have the clerk call the roll.
Jennings,
Aye.
Shore,
Aye.
Nabel,
Aye.
Zarazua,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Slowinski,
Aye.
Kneebone,
Aye.
Leak,
Aye.
Dalton,
Aye.
Fischler,
Aye.
Morrow,
Aye.
11-0, that is adopted. Item number 21 is a request from the city of Stevens Point to sell 15.6 acres of land in the East Park Commerce Center with the parcel identified. This is selling back some of that land to the developer. Director Karnowski, anything to add there?
Nothing to add.
Alderpersons, what are your wishes?
Alder Slawinski, I'll move approval.
Thank you. We have a second by Alder Kneebone. Any discussion? Hearing none, clerk, would you please call the roll?
Morrow,
Aye.
Fischler,
Aye.
Dalton,
Aye.
Leak,
Aye.
Kneebone,
Aye.
Slowinski,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Zarazua,
Aye.
Nabel,
Aye.
Shore,
Aye.
Jennings,
Aye.
Thank you. Unanimous consent. That is approved. Item number 22 is a resolution to amend the 2020 budget. As you know, sometimes numbers change. We don't always have exact numbers when we're going through the budget process, and sometimes those numbers change before the end of the year. Comptroller, anything to add here?
So this is what we discussed at finance in terms of the budget adjustments that we needed to make for 2020. As you can imagine, a lot of those were due to COVID-19. So, and then the other thing to note is just that under state statute, this does require 2/3 approval.
Any questions for the comptroller or a motion?
Move approval of the changes to the budget.
Thank you. Motion by Shore. Is there a second? Second
Alder
by
Morrow,
President
second.
Johnson. We got a second by President Johnson. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Jennings,
Aye.
Shore,
Aye.
Nabel,
Aye.
Zarazua,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Slowinski,
Aye.
Kneebone,
Aye.
Leak,
Aye.
Dalton,
Aye.
Fischler,
Aye.
Morrow,
Aye.
11-0, that is approved. Item number 23 is to award the McDill Dam Monitoring and Control System Project 20-14 to Van Eert Electric in the amount not to exceed $109,017.70. This is going to allow us to control and monitor the dam significantly more efficiently than we are now and save a substantial amount of staff time. Director Badoon, anything to add?
Just a couple of things, so everyone's aware how we're proceeding from here is the Lake District will be voting on the 6th of January to accept the bids, and afterwards there we will take it for official approval from the DNR. We did get informal approval from them that the bids would be accepted by them, so we're in good shape.
Thank you very much. Questions for the director or a motion?
This is Alder Fischler. I'd move to approve the dam project. Award the McDill Dam Monitoring and Control System Project 20-14 to Van Eert Electric in the amount
Thank
not
you
to
very
exceed
much. That's good enough. Is there a second?
Leak here. I'll second that.
There we
Easier
go.
to say.
Seconded by Lee. Any discussion there? Okay, the motion is to award the dam monitoring and control project to Van Eert Electric in an amount not to exceed $109,017.70. If you are in favor, vote yes. If you are opposed, you will vote no, and the clerk will call the roll.
Morrow,
Aye.
Fischler,
Aye.
Dalton,
Good. Aye.
Leak,
Aye.
Kneebone,
Aye.
Slowinski,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Zarazua,
Aye.
Nabel,
Aye.
Shore,
Aye.
Jennings.
Aye.
Unanimous consent. That also is approved. Item number 24 is entering into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statutes 19.85 sub 1 sub E and 19.85 sub 1 sub G for the reasons specified, this one relating specifically to negotiating the purchase of properties and easements near Ben's Lane. We will not be taking action in open session and therefore will adjourn in closed session. Any directors who are not directly related to the project are free to log off as well. I will be removing anyone who is not involved in the project so we can go into closed session if it is successful. But first I need a motion. President Johnson moves. We have a second. Second by Morrow.
Yes.
Discussion on the motion to go into closed session. Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Jennings,
Aye.
Shore,
Aye.
Nabel,
Aye.
Zarazua,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Slowinski,
Aye.
Kneebone,
Aye.
Leak,
Aye.
Dalton,
Dalton. No.
Fischler,
Aye.
Morrow.
Aye.
Unanimous consent. Give me a few minutes here to get some people out.
Videos of these meetings are available for viewing on the city's website, stevenspoint.com/videos.